Hello. Hello. I said hello. Hello everyone, and welcome back to me, myself, and Ifa here. And today I've got two story times for you. So before we begin and get into the gory, I just want to say that even though I'm telling the story, like, it would be rather presumptuous to assume these are my stories. This can just easily be fictional. Even if you were in the story, like, you weren't. I don't really need anyone trying to start beefing me over this. It's just two funny stories that I just thought it'd be funny to recollect. So the first story is about a little boy called Winnie the Pooh. How did this even start? It was a night out, you know, everyone's having a bit of fun, everyone's a bit fuzzed, having a bit of fun. And I think I actually was trying to set my friend up with him to begin with, but I don't know, obviously somewhere along the way the message got changed. And long story short, next thing you know, Winnie's asking me to go upstairs. I'm thinking, you know, it's hot downstairs, so yeah, sure, like, let's go upstairs. So we go upstairs, we're talking and stuff, and I'm like, okay, okay, we're talking, like, Winnie, you're better talking than I thought. That was that. We talk, go home, it's cool. Next day, I go out again, I get a bit of fun. This was ages ago, like, I've stopped going out now, you know what I mean, I've grown up, but this is back in the day. And I'm just on a level, like, if you ever have drank K-cider, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nothing makes sense. You don't make sense, like, the world doesn't make sense. And it just seems to be able to convince me that I could just do things I just shouldn't do. And part of the things I just shouldn't do was call Winnie and tell him how much of a great talker he was, while also asking him if he has a honey, because someone earlier on in the day was like, oh yeah, like, you know, when he has a honey, right? So I'm like telling him, oh yeah, you know, like, you're a really good talker, whatever, like, I wouldn't expect it from you, etc. I was actually chatting out of my bum, and then I go, oh, by the way, out of interest, do you have... Out of interest, do you have a honey? And then while I realised I'm just not really making any sense, like, while I'm telling you this is what I said, this is probably what I thought I was saying, in reality I was probably chatting out of my bum. So I go halfway, let me give the phone to Ifa. Basically trying to pretend like the whole conversation wasn't me, even though I have quite a distinctive voice. And when Ifa came back on the phone, the voice didn't change. He's probably thinking this girl's like what even is she? Cut the phone off, send a message like, that wasn't me, but you are a really good talker. Your talking makes me tingle. Like, I use that word, tingle. Is that really that? Wow, I don't know what I was on. That's the end of that. Wake up the next morning to a surprise, to two surprises. This guy's blocked me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm thinking, that is so rude. Here I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna be like, sorry about yesterday, you know, I was just very waved. I wake up to two blockages. I'm like, what an absolute prick. Bear in mind, because I'm like, I wasn't like friends with this guy, but we were like, no, we were like friends, but I didn't really care that I had lost a friend in a sense. I was just more like, this is so rude. Spoke about it a lot more than I should have to people I shouldn't have. But anyway, eventually, like, I swept this under the rug. But I think there was one Christmas when I called up with like my friends from school, and we were all just having a little like, oh, you know, how's your term been, what's good, etc. And I'm like telling this funny story because, like, the funny thing in the story isn't him, it's more just me being a fool, like calling him and stuff like that, saying the tingle thing. So I'm like laughing about this story and how, you know, we went from let's go upstairs to blockages in about 2 days, and how he has a girlfriend, etc. And then of course, being live, someone knows this guy's girlfriend, and I'm like, look, okay, like, don't, nah, like, you're not saying anything. I don't need that drama in my life, trust me. Like, I don't understand what it is, but drama always seems to find a way into my life, and I don't need any additional. So, like, you know, let's keep it here. We're all school friends, laughing about uni. Like, let's keep the two things separate. 3, 4, 5 months down the line, I'm getting a text from Winnie's best friend Piglet, and I don't have his number saved at this point. I think the number's still saved as who the hell is this on my phone, and it's like, why are you telling Winnie's girlfriend that blah 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 blah, this situation happened ages ago and it's been sorted, why are you bringing it back up? I'm thinking, what on actual earth? I have not thought about the situation. Who's telling who what? Who is Winnie's girlfriend? Who is even Winnie? So I go to the friend that said that she knows his girlfriend. I'm like, basically, I'm getting this message, like, did you tell anyone? And then she sends me a screenshot of a message she sent me that I actually just didn't receive, saying, hope you don't mind, but I thought it was the right thing to do to tell her. Because I haven't received this message, this is like so, like, this took me completely unaware. Like, I'm fuming. The only issue I had in this situation was the fact that I got blocked, because that is just so disrespectful. I have the pride of like a lion, so I was just like rude, but I have gotten over it. So like, be pulled back in. I sent Piglet a message saying, what on earth, like, why are you trying to make the side relevant? Like, essentially, I am an object of your best friend's act. Like, he is the subject. Why are you getting me involved? And he's saying things like, obviously you're going to be involved if you're the girl that he supposedly cheated with. I'm like, no, like, first of all, I'm not really loving this supposedly when your friend like led the whole thing, apart from like my nonsense the next day, obviously, but like, I'm an idiot. But yeah, like, nah, you don't do that. It should be between them. Like, he made a mistake, leave me out of it. Send the guy a message, Winnie, saying, literally, I will lie to your girlfriend and tell her nothing happened if it means I don't have to hear about this stupid situation again. Like, leave me alone, literally. But I think that's so wild, like, of Piglet to message me. Like, imagine. Imagine. It's cool now though. Hope this video hasn't like brought back anything up, but cool. It's sorted. So, on to the next one. This next one, like, this guy is an absolute psycho. He is a psycho. Like Pepe's, you're a psycho. That's what we're calling him. We're calling him Pepe's. And Pepe's story is different. Because if you thought I was minding my own business in the first story, whoa. Yo, I wasn't even minding my own business in this story. I wasn't even minding, like, I was just there. Me and Pepe is like cool, calm, let's be acquaintances, until like maybe one night we just end up talking and he's telling me all these things, like, you know, him and his girlfriend are on the rocks, you know, he wants to break up with her, etc. I don't know what we're talking about. It was another like fun night. Nothing happened though, but the next day, like, I wake up and I've been added on literally maybe every possible social media, maybe like Bar Bebo in MySpace, but like, you get the vibe, like everything. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, like, you know, nah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit gassed. Nah, I was a bit gassed, not gonna lie, like, you know what I mean? I thought he was an attractive fella. Obviously, you get out of things, you follow back, etc. You get to see things. I got to see that this guy was chatting out of his bum crack about On the Rocks. Are you absolutely mad? Like, his Instagram is this girl. And then when you're doing highlights from like a day ago, you're not on the rocks. You're actually happily sailing on the sea, far away from the rocks, about On the Rocks. Bro, literally, you've abseiled down the building and you're sailing away into the sunset to the rainbow. Not actually talk about the situation. I haven't even gotten started yet. There'll be random replies to stories every now and again. Replies to stories that just were not necessary. I'll be eating an apple and he'll be like, oh, like, oh, where did you get that from? I didn't know they grew in England. Like, do you know what I mean? When someone's just forcing a conversation that is just not there. Like, I actually thought he was a cool guy. I thought we could like be mates. It's just obviously a bit sus that you're like kind of this invested in someone that's not your girl. You're not doing anything wrong, but I can tell that like you're interested in me in some sort of way. Flash forward, it's the start of the year, it's a party, and he asked me the start of the night, like, am I going to be there? I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. We at the party were talking like absolutely fine, like talking in groups, that's cool. And then there's a plan at the like end of the night to kind of go and talk further, but in a group at someone's house. Don't really know what happened between the time the plan happened and the time he came round, but essentially it ended up just being me and him, and it was still actually very cool at this point. Like, we're chilling, talking, listening to like hardcore rap. Like, it was so calm. It was so calm. Actually, honestly, did not expect anything to happen until suddenly the music changed, the vibe changed, etc. He put on a song and the vibe just changed. At some point, you know, it's Joey Badass, next is Solange, stuff happened. And no! Oh, this is the thing. This is how I know that I was like not on it or not with it, because he was asking me like questions, whatever, do you have a man, etc. I was like, no, cool, whatever, we moved. And then as soon as I asked the same question, he literally said, don't worry about it. And I actually accepted this as an answer. Like, that's how I know I wasn't with it. Because if I was, I would have been like, fuck you mean? Like, what do you mean don't worry about it? Like, can you imagine someone ask you like all these questions about your situation, and then when you ask them about theirs, they say don't worry about it. So that was one thing. The next was to switch up from like Joey Badass to like Solange. And then happens. And then suddenly, I don't know, I kind of like wake up and I feel like I just feel really bad. My clock was like gone on, I feel bad. And I remember being like, I actually feel really bad, like, etc. And when I tell you, this guy did like a 360, acts like he has Alzheimer's, talking about how did I get here, where am I, whose house is this. It was wild, and I was just like, whoa, so people are actually psychotic. Creeping in for about like 6 months, asking like if I'm going out, find a way like into my house. Obviously 2 people have a role to play in every situation, but like you're scheming, like you've actually schemed, and then you're gonna amnesia. You know when someone remembers like random things you said in passing, like so minor, if you're gonna remember that, like something so minor from like a year ago, you're gonna forget something that happened a minute ago. Like, come on, let's be real. Like, I have to give him props for his acting skills, because I think like his speakers were in the living room and he was like, oh, do you have the same speakers as me? Like, it was wild. That was it really. Those were the 2 stories. That is the end. That is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, etc, etc. You know the deal by now. In a bit. Bye. Not 1, but 2. Story times for you. Yo, LMA in the place. LMA is in the place. Are you dizzy? Are you dumb? Where do you know me from? Hey, are you dizzy? Are you dumb? Where do you know me from? It was so